to the Anti-Bullying and LGBT Teen Suicide PowerPoint and speech. I'm Corey Gravely. Yes, I did the PowerPoint. And go ahead, Amy. Okay. Now, how many of you have been bullied? Now, how many of you have actually been in the bully's position? Okay. Now, a lot of stories I'm about to bring up are about kids who were bullied and then committed suicide. So, Jennifer Ehring in 2006 overdosed on antidepressants. Eric Mahat in 2007 shot himself. And Phoebe Prince hung herself because of the bullying. Bullying is intense. Asher Brown shot himself after coming out to his stepfather. And Billy Lucas hung himself in his grandfather's barn. Seth Walsh had a love for fashion and was labeled gay because of it. He hung himself in his backyard and died from the injuries 9 days later. Tyler Clementi is the one that most of you have probably heard of. September 22nd, 2010, he was the second LGBT teen to commit suicide because his roommate invaded his privacy, showed him live on the web kissing another man in their dorm room. And because of this, he jumped off the George Washington Bridge in New York. Okay, now these stories, they're about kids who've been bullied and did commit suicide. But I have facts about the rate of bullying. 6 of 10 teens witness bullying at least once a day. GLBT students hear anti-gay slurs about 26 times a day or every 14 minutes. 1 of every 10 students who drops out does so because of repeated bullying. And nationwide, an estimated 160,000 children miss school every day out of fear. 44% of suicides among 10 to 14-year-olds in the UK may be bullying related. LGBTQ youth are up to 4 times more likely to commit suicide than their straight peers. Teens rejected by their family for being LGBT are 8.4 times more likely to commit suicide. Gay, lesbian, and bisexual teens are 2 times as likely to report being bullied. Now, these facts are scary, and the stories are definitely devastating. But the pain of grieving because you didn't notice someone was going to commit suicide is even more intense. So the warning signs of suicide, getting things that could be used to commit suicide is one of the obvious ones. Talking about suicide, saying things like, I wish I were dead, or I'd be better off, or you'd be better off if I were dead. Being preoccupied and obsessive with death, dying, or violence, and giving away belongings or getting affairs in order, and saying goodbye to friends as if they won't be seen again. More of the less obvious signs are acting out of character, being shy, and then the next day being very outgoing and happier in a way, because they're masking the pain. Changing routines, such as eating and sleeping, or how they do their homework, any routine. If it changes, it could be an indicator. taking risks or being self-destructive, for example, abusing drugs or driving recklessly. And another thing is being antisocial and having dramatic mood swings, feeling trapped or hopeless about certain situations. A lot of these signs alone are not indicating that they are going to commit suicide. But if you notice a lot of these in yourself or someone else, maybe it's more so leading to an effect. These signs alone are not reason to believe that someone is going to commit suicide. So, if someone you know or yourself are contemplating suicide, you guys can call this number. It's 1-800-273-TALK. It's the number for the National Suicide Hotline. And please call this number or visit a counselor here at school, or maybe a teacher you trust, which for me would be Mrs. Carlson back there. And that's the works cited page. Thank you for attending, but before we have you guys clean up and maybe let you enjoy your lunch, I want to know if any of you have ever considered suicide. Okay? And what did you guys do to get help?
Well, I talked it out with my mom, and she helped me through the process. And, yeah, I felt much better because she understood me.
What about you two?
I talked to my friends, and mine was actually an attack.
Okay. Now, I know that some of you know someone or have actually heard about suicides like in the news, or you know someone personally, and if that is affecting you, you can still go see a counselor about it. It's not just that it has to be you or a friend that you notice this in. And the bullying, how many of you do see at least once a day here on campus? Okay. And this, I mean, what do you guys take from that? Do you guys interfere? Alex?
Stop it. I asked them, how would you like it if someone came up and picked on you?
Now, earlier today, I did a smaller version of this presentation for the ILS class here on campus. And I asked them if they had seen bullying. They have, and they've been bullied just like all of us, okay? And I was talking to them about how to stop a bully. And who knows, one of the 3 big things?
Stand up for yourself.
Well, that's actually not recommended because that goes into fights. But if you get an adult or you ignore it, eventually if you ignore it long enough, it'll stop. And a lot of the time, people don't know they can go to an adult without being a snitch. And you can. And a lot of the time, if you just want to maybe talk to someone, not even go and get an adult's help for the actual bullying, if you just want to talk instead of being depressed to yourself, go to the counselors or a teacher you trust. It's the best way to do it. Now, I know I raised my hand when I said, well, when I asked if you guys had been bullied, and I've been bullied my entire life. So I wanted to do this to try to give back to those in the same position. Because all my life, people have been bullying me for one thing or another, and I know how much it hurts. So thank you. Be sure you pick up all your trash.